of it is self-defense, an element of it is exercise, an element of it is mental health, an element is developing social interactions with people. Okay.
Hello, Sensei Don. Been a while. Glad
It
that you
has.
managed to join me on our another episode of Anxious Black Belt, and today is completely unrestricted and unstructured. We'll see where it takes us.
Sounds promising. How are you? You
I,
good?
I, I'm very good. I even came prepared with your lovely T-shirt.
Excellent. Thank you. It's nice to see somebody wearing it. I haven't got mine anymore. I've had to get some more made up, I think.
Very, very nice. So what you been up to? We haven't spoke for quite a while now, but 2, 3 months.
Yeah, it's been a busy time, all sorts of things. Some good training, some good work, lots of personal stuff going on, which has sort of kept me busy. So yeah, but things are evening out now, so we're looking good. We've got a way forwards again now.
Hmm. Yeah, it's always a like a sinusoidal way of life, isn't it? You on the ups,
Yeah,
you on the downs, and then trying to balance the things out and see how it goes, right? Have you been
yeah.
recently teaching anywhere? Anything interesting?
Teaching's always interesting, isn't it? You know,
Yeah.
it's trying to come up with different ways to explain the same stuff to different people, to find that best fit, because you know as a teacher yourself is that no one way suits everybody, and so
Hmm.
you have to be flexible enough in your mental approach to training to try and get as much out of it as you can, to put as much information across as you can, and to be as adaptable as you can. I think if I start looking off screen, it's only because I can't see you because I've just taken my glasses off.
Yeah, I keep getting that problem because my camera now it's higher than laptop. So every time I'm looking on my video, it's like, well, he's looking down all the time because I try to see you and look in the camera in the same time. It always makes me look odd. But hey ho, I'm used to it to be looking odd all the time, so it is. But yeah, on your point, yeah, coming out with teaching material to different people, it is a challenge, and I'm learning constantly new things because having people with disabilities in your room, it makes you think, this person actually can't hear me. Like on Sunday, we had a seminar with Joe and Greg from Somerset Applied Karate. Shout out to them. They
Yeah,
done a lovely session. But we had a couple of people who had hard of hearing and with autism, and you had to balance the things out and track the person who can't hear you so can lip read. But then Joe got a big beard, so that Sylvia, my student, was going like, "What did he just say? I don't, I don't understand." So it is kind of very interesting and then challenging, isn't it?
it is. But I think that's, like you say, that's what keeps it interesting as a teacher. It's really good that you have to keep on looking at how you teach things, and your teaching style evolves, doesn't it? In the same way as your martial arts evolves, you're working to improve not just your physical skills, but your teaching skills, your understanding of movement, your understanding of other people. Yeah, so it's one of the things that makes teaching such a joy, I think.
So you've been teaching across the Europe and the world. Did you have any funny situations with like kind of misunderstandings and things like that? Because me being a foreigner, teaching people with the hard of hearing, I've got loads.
Well, hard of hearing includes me as well, I'm afraid. People have to repeat things quite a few times before they actually start to sink in. Um, yeah, I think that teaching when it's not people's first language, and if I don't have the language skills to put that information across, it tests or pressure, it sort of pressure tests your teaching in a slightly different way, because it's more about what they see. So you have to be very sort of almost like theatrical in the way that you put the movement across. So you expand, you make things bigger than life, so they can see what's going on. And then you start to refine it, start to bring it back into like a smaller framework. Because, you know, it's like we see when we're looking at visual cues, we want to see big movements so that we can see where they are, where they occur within the process. And then, as I say, once we see the big movement, we see that in karate anyway. If you look at the way that Kion and kata are practiced, they're quite exaggerated, quite theatrical moves. When we apply them, they're not anywhere near as theatrical. You know, it's because we're understanding the pathway. You know, if when we look at the movements in the kata, I think one of the big problems with referencing kata from books, for example, not so much of an issue these days because we have access to videos and DVDs and online
Books.
stuff.
What's books? What's
Yeah,
that?
books are brilliant. I love books. I own hundreds, if not thousands, of books in various places. But I think that when you're looking at the pictorial references of something like kata, they're very static, very two-dimensional, and it makes it very difficult to translate it into something that is live and active. Because primarily the evidence is, or the representation is one that is sort of fairly static, and it's not frame by frame. So it's not like a flick book where you actually see what's going on. You see point A, then you see point B, then you see point C. So it makes it very hard to get that information across. Some people do it quite well, but ultimately it's a very difficult format to present because you are looking at the final stage of the movement, the starting stage and final stage, and not really appreciating the transition, how you get from point A to point B, which we know from our own experience is actually where all the good stuff is. That's where all the applications are happening, because the start is the initiation, the build-up of the power. The final expression is where the power has been expended. It's gone. It's, you know, past its point of usefulness by the time we get to the end of the technique, because it's that bit in the middle where we have the application, we have the potential power, we have the biomechanics, all playing into the functional movement, into the application of the movement. So I think that's when we took off track a little bit, but that's what I was saying. If I'm teaching abroad, if I'm teaching somebody with a hearing impairment, if I'm teaching somebody who's it's not their first language, it's much more about what they see than it is about what they hear. And I think if we can benefit from blending those as a teaching method, then I think we have a much better teaching protocol.
It's funny you mentioned the books and the over-exaggeration movements of the kata. I just posted today a video comparison of the evolution of the kata from like black and white old masters from Jundokan doing katas to 2023. I think it was a kata on competition wise. And I think with even with the video, it's gonna be the same problem because in order to be aesthetically pleasing and showing the over-exaggerated movement and how your body mechanics work, we've got those outstretched, over-exaggerated movements, which not meeting the applications when you start applying. You cannot do a mawashi uke over your head and below your waist and expect it's gonna work on somebody who is 5-6 foot tall, you know?
Yeah.
So I think that in a way we're looping back to if people gonna go, oh, I reference the video, who I'm gonna look for? Oh, I'm gonna look for a world champion in kata, how the kata looks. That doesn't give you a access to the how the kata gonna work in the applied situation, if that makes sense.
Yeah, for sure. I love your videos, and I haven't seen that one yet, so I look forward to seeing that. But I think that it's back to this idea of the theatrics. Kata is a theatrical performance. It's got to be done with power. It's got to be done with grace. It's selling the idea of the movements without necessarily applying the movements. And there's nothing wrong with something that looks aesthetically pleasing. I think, you know, we are practicing an art, so it's nice to think that we can make it look good when it needs to look good, and we can make it functional when it needs to be functional.
Mhm.
depending on what that function is. You know, it might be the function is to make it look pretty. And if that's the
Yeah.
function and that's the purpose of the training, that's absolutely fine. I think there's a nice balance. If we think in terms of what karate is for, an element of it is self-defense, an element of it is exercise, an element of it is mental health, an
Mhm.
element is developing social interactions with people. There's a lot of things that we can bring out of our karate practice, and no one really is more important than the other, um, depending on your perspective and your needs at that particular point in time. But they're all part and parcel of the same product, if you like to call it that. You know, if karate is the product, it needs to be able to deliver all of those things. And I think that partly comes down to the way that it's taught as well. You know, so teachers need to be open to different people. They need to be open to new ideas. You know, you need to be open to the idea of accepting that maybe the way we're doing it isn't quite right, or maybe not quite right for a particular group or a particular person.
Mhm.
So we have to be able to make those adaptations. And I think that's part of developing our skill base, not just as martial artists, but as teachers, as human beings, the ability to communicate and to exchange ideas and to discuss and accept. You know, there's a, you know, I think what's the phrase? Um, do the best you can with what you know, and when you know better, do better. I think
Mhm.
that's a misquote of somebody, and I wish I could remember the name of the person who said it first of all. I'm sure somebody who's if anybody's watching our video, I'm sure somebody will come up with name, and if you do, put it in the links because I'd like to know who said it because it's a really nice quote. So we do the best we can with the information we have. As we learn better, we do better, not just from performance point of view, from a teaching point of view, and from a communication point of view. So it makes it really, really accessible, I hope, to. And if you know, if you're as a teacher, if we are closed off to new ideas uh, and to training with other people, then what are our students going to be like? They're going to be exactly the same. But if we can present, you know, like it or not, we are mentors to our students. We are teachers. We are role models. That's always a hard one to live up to. But
Mhm.
if we take on the role of teaching, we have to accept that's part of our role. So we have to be seen to be trying to do our best. We're all human. We're all fallible. We all fall down from time to time. But it's, you know, it's that ability to acknowledge that and move on, learn from it, move on.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, this is a very challenging because you've got so many people within martial arts that promote the honor, the diligence, and all the virtues. But if you look at them only online, they present totally opposite stuff. So not many walk the walk. Is it a talk the talk, walk the walk, or
Yeah, yeah, well,
something like
both
that?
work.
You say
Yeah.
I'm really bad with quoting as well. So there you go, touche.
Or somebody can put that in the comments as well, so they can tidy us up on our references. Yeah, I think that's really important, and there's so much negativity out there in the martial arts world, and why I don't understand it. You know, I was brought up to if you can't say something nice, don't say anything at all.
Yeah.
You know, so um, and if I see something, the thing is when you watch something online, so we'll take sort of people put in because it's more our world. We'll talk about people demonstrating bunkai. Um, Bunkai is a very individual thing. You know, something will work for one person won't necessarily work for another. So we have this idea of pathways, which is the kata. We have the line of best fit, which is the applications, which varies depending on intent and intensity, etc. Um, but what we tend to uh, forget, I guess, is that everybody's different. If I put a video out, it's a very small section of what we do. Your videos, you put out clips, brilliant clips, but it's a very small part of what you're doing as an overall session.
Mm.
So of course we can go in there and say, oh, well, that wouldn't work in this situation, blah 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 blah, and that's all. If they think that, that's fine, but ultimately they're basing that opinion on such a small piece of information that personally I don't feel confident enough to slate somebody's technique watching it as a video purely because I don't know the context. I
Mhm.
don't know the preamble. I don't know the exit. All I see is that one little video. I can certainly say I don't like something or I can think it. If I don't like something, that's fine. I don't have to watch it. I can move on and watch something else. I can go and
I
do
think
something else.
I think people always also forgetting that we all are on different stage, and some people just show their stuff and they are on a, let's say, on the beginning of the journey with the bunkai. They're just
Mm.
translating from 3K karate, so they're exploring the possibilities within their body, partners, environment, how they've been learning, what ideas come in, and they might not know anything better, right? But if
Yeah.
we could just go and slate them, oh, this is rubbish, they're never gonna come out, they might not come again to demonstrate. Instead
Yeah.
of if we have a nice positive critique saying like, hey, maybe try this little bit different. That's a good idea, but execution could be better, or the idea is flawed because this and this. But if you do
Yeah.
that in a positive manner, that encourages people to look for something more. If not, they're just
Mm.
gonna close themselves off, and they might be stuck in that system or group and never learn anything better or different, right? Not necessarily
Yeah.
better. And just like you know, if I don't like something or I don't agree with something, I just scroll down. So
Yeah.
I don't feel like a internal urge to, oh, I need to type stuff in and slate them, and you know I'm right and I'm wrong and they wrong. So well, I think it's just the ego. The ego in martial art is very big.
Yeah, for sure. And I think that, if somebody puts a video out, they have to accept the fact that people will look at it. That's why we put it out there in the first place. It's to generate discussion. If somebody doesn't directly ask for feedback on something, then why give it?
Mm,
If they do ask for feedback, if it's a genuine request for feedback and not just that egotistical, I'm going to put this out, blah, um, then personally, and I have done this in the past, I will comment, but I will actually start a private conversation with somebody
mm,
via Messenger rather than actually go into slating something online. And if you're critiquing something, you want to make sure it's understood what you're critiquing and why you're critiquing, and you've got to be able to make it very clear the point you're making. So
mm.
again, that can start to come across the wrong way when we're talking about comments underneath somebody's video. But as if we end up, if you comment privately or to open a discussion privately, then that can go on and that can actually develop relationships and it can actually help them. It can help you because it might be I question something in say one of your videos comes up and I watch it. I'm not sure about it. Um, and if you and I have a conversation about it and you say, well, this is why A plus B equals C, and you say, okay, yeah, actually, I get that now. I understand that completely where you're coming from. So that's something we have to be. I think we have to relearn how to have a conversation with people, how to, exchange ideas, and not think that just because somebody thinks differently or sees things differently or offers up a different interpretation of something, that it's a direct challenge to what you're doing. You know,
Mm.
it's a way of developing further what it is that you do. I mean, been involved for martial arts for a number of years, and we can't ever stop learning, really, or we shouldn't stop learning. If we stop learning, then we might as well give up teaching, to be honest.
Mm.
You know,
Yeah.
it's like, you've got some good guys working with you, and even new people, you can learn a lot from you as a teacher can learn a lot from people who come and train with you, as
Mm.
do I. And when you've got a good group, you're bouncing ideas off each other all the time, which is
Yeah,
again, it's great.
I am fortunate that I've got around me lots of people with black belts in different styles, and they coming in.
Mm,
So, I could have go two ways. Either you doing my way, and that's it, or I chose the other way, and we have like a community that you show me your stuff, we try to figure out how it works better for you. And I'm fortunate that I've got quite a few people who are keen to think about the karate. They're not just following and looking for a direction. They are there to explore their own stuff. So, we've got the
mm.
Wadoryu guys, we've got the Kyokushin guy, we've got the um, uh, Shitoryu guy who are black belts, and they all have their own ideas. So it's nice to bounce off the ideas and we all learn in one way. It's just, they chosen that I do the physical workout and I show them what I do, and then we build up on this one. I was
Mm.
smiling earlier because you brought to
It's
my
unusual.
memory. Yeah, I know, but this guy was commenting on my video. I don't know what are you doing, but you're doing it wrong. So, I don't know what
Yeah,
I'm looking at, but you're looking wrong. So there are people really blessed with a, just go there and make a comment. And as well, you said about the misunderstanding, and I learned that really hard way. And now it makes me really conscious whatever I put online, because every time when I try to make like a deeper, meaningful post, it always
mm.
comes up wrong way. So I just
I don't think
oh,
so.
no, usually people comment that, yeah, yeah, this guy is doing this wrong. I said, I didn't mean that. It's just showing there's a different way of doing things. I'm not saying it's wrong, but the people
Yeah,
just jump into conclusion. I suppose we
yeah,
all reading comments with our own take on it. So it's not always the same as the intended. So we're putting our own layer on what we're reading, right?
yeah,
Depending on our mood and situation.
yeah. Well, we've all got egos, and we put something out there. It lasts, even if there's a genuine desire for constructive criticism. No, nobody likes criticism. Nobody likes to be told, "Well, that's wrong." It's like, okay, I accept it. I've spent many, many years having people tell me I've been doing things wrong, so that's okay. I can accept it.
Mm.
But nobody likes it. The fact is that you can develop and your skill for it from that feedback is great, and that I do like. The fact that it means you can propel yourself forwards is great, but nobody likes criticism.
Mm.
Anyone who says they do, they're a little bit masochistic. I think it's not
Yeah.
something that we enjoy. It's something we understand is necessary and we accept as part of our growth. But it's not something that we actually get any sort of real pleasure out of being criticised
Mm.
for doing something that's maybe not quite as good as it could be.
Yeah. Speaking of difficult things, development, self-development, and critiques, how's the book going?
It faltered a little bit. I'm getting back into it now, but yeah, so it's still a work in progress. I think I've given myself an extension of 12 months. So it's supposed to be January this year. It'll probably be January, February of next year. Because once the
Yeah,
writing's done, I've got to think about the photographs or any diagrams that have got to go with it. So that's going to be the hard part, I think.
yeah, I know how it is. Just my book meant to be published last August, and I think I had a half a year break from it. I went in today, look at it, and it's like, oh, I'm thinking a little bit different now. I need to change a lot of things. So,
It's
so
funny, isn't it? I mean, you're experienced at writing, so you come to it with a lot more realistic idea of how long it will take you. But I don't think until I started. I mean, I've written articles and stuff that have been in trade and the like, but um, I didn't realize how challenging actually sitting down and writing when you've got other things you need to be doing as well. So actually to
mm,
come out of one mindset and sit down and switch off and go into another mindset, I found really tough, to be honest.
yeah,
And I
me
spent
too.
many a time sitting there twiddling my thumbs and wondering what the hell was, um, why hadn't I got more words on paper? It's all in there,
Mm,
it's not coming out onto the page, and it's because it takes a while to get that mindset right. Once it starts, once I start, it's okay, it flows. But
mm.
getting that bit is getting there is quite tough. So I need you need to set up a writers workshop. There's
Well, I
give us
don't
some
think so.
advice.
Mine gonna be very helpful because I kind of gave in into that what you just said, that you're sitting down, there's nothing coming to you because I can't force it coming out. So my way of writing books, it's like a little chunks and jumps. So you've got 15
Mm.
here minutes. I've got now a new phone which got a kind of additional space. So I press the button, it takes the screenshot, and I can say what I'm thinking about it, and it keeps it in
Right.
separate space, which is great
Okay.
for me because I used to work with a pen and
Mm.
or typing on a phone, and now
Yeah.
I've got a special tool for it, like for writers. I think maybe anyway, it helps me because I sometimes wake up at night and I've got a great idea, and if I say to myself I'm gonna remember that in the morning, there's no chance I'm gonna remember it.
Yeah.
So
Uh,
I write
yeah.
like 15, 20 minutes and then move.
Yeah. Now, how did you find your voice though for writing? Because you have a very distinctive style in the way that you write. How did you discover your voice? Because that's something I
uh,
find a bit.
it is annoying for me, although having a podcast helped me a lot to get used to it and seeing how many people finding it interesting. I had a lot of comments that I've got a very calming voice, which I don't think it is, but ask my children.
Nobody
um,
likes their own voice. It's a bit like looking at
yeah,
pictures of yourself. It doesn't work.
exactly. But it helped me to get rid of. In my region in Poland, we're using a lot of filler sounds, so there's a lot
Hmm.
of between the words, and I have to do a conscious effort through the podcast to minimize those because it just sounds better. And I've been recording my audiobook, went halfway through, and then Amazon said, "Would you like to be a part of our beta testing audiobooks?" Oh, yes, please. So I found a British person who reads very nicely for me. So there you
Excellent.
go. That's my solution. Get somebody else to do it.
Yeah,
But
but your writing voice,
um, I
your
would like to sound
style.
more. I would like to sound more intellectual, but that's not me. So I just accepted I'm a kind of simple writer. Um, I like reading intellectual books or challenging books, but it takes me a lot of effort to go back and try to understand. A, because English is not my language, and even in
Mm,
Polish, it takes me a lot to understand what I read. So I like autobiographies where it's a simple language, and I
mm,
realized that this is probably my space where I write. I'm not trying to win a Pulitzer. I am trying to get people like me to read a little bit more, if that makes
yeah,
sense.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So,
I think you
so I'm
undersell
trying.
yourself. Yeah, because
Thank you.
I think that a lot of stuff that you read, particularly when it comes to martial arts, I think has been overly overly academic.
Hmm.
It's not accessible. Um, so I think that it's good to find that balance between if you use too many big words, it's almost like you're just showing off how many big words you know. Okay, so
Mm.
you want to be able to explain something in a fairly but it's if you know something well, you should be able to explain it simply.
It's funny because I was writing that Karate for Mental Health course, and I been checking with Mary Stevens. Shout out to Mary for being grounded and bringing my ego down. And she read through it, and she said, "Stop using such interesting and challenging words. Half of the people won't understand what you mean." So I was like, "Okay, let's
Yeah,
simplify it." so, so
it was good.
it's just yeah.
It's
Thank
good.
you very much.
I bought your course, and I would recommend it to anyone because I think
Thank you
it's
very much.
succinct, it's very clear, it's very concise. To use as many big words as I possibly can to explain it. But no, it's a really good course, and I think that its simplicity is its selling point. There's a lot
Mm.
of really important information in there, but it's very easily digestible. So I thought it was a really well written and well presented, really well laid out. So yeah, congratulations on that. I think
Thank
you
you
should be
very much.
very proud of that.
The, the whole idea was that I done several mental health courses through the college,
Hmm.
uh, costing quite a lot of money, and it was like you said, when written in a language that is not, it took me a long time to understand what they mean and what they do, and the structure was So I was looking for something for instructors. Most of the things I found was how to protect yourself from being sued, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So it was from the point of view, oh, you're a carer, don't do this, don't do that, because you're gonna be in trouble, right? So there was lacking few things that I really wanted to have it in a course. So I created this course the way what I would like to learn when I was starting, to know when I was starting working with people with mental health and charities and
Mm.
stuff like that. And I think, I would wish to be more humble maybe, but I'm really proud of it, and I think I done a really good job. So,
I think it's really good because even if all it does is raise people's level of empathy, it's done a great job. You know, just the fact that people will understand that these are potential things that you may experience or you may encounter working with different people, and it doesn't, you know, it's not, as we know, it's not evident when if somebody has sort of mental health issues. It's not always obvious. So understanding that if people are having a bad day, you know, don't take it personally and go on the attack. Just understand that, you know, people have a bad day. Fine, let them deal with it.
mm.
Uh,
But through that little course, I can't say much because it's all in behind the scene works at the moment.
mm,
Um, this course connected me to a few people who are really interested in funding a professional research studies into how karate is helping people with mental health in order to create the karate therapy, worldwide
mhm.
karate therapy, like you've got a dance therapy, music therapy. So it's kind of my dream is come true. I said when I started it that my dream would be to create a therapeutic version of karate, and it seems
Brilliant.
to be it's going that way. Without me, because I don't have access to those people, and suddenly through that
Mm.
course, somebody have it and connecting me and say, "Hey, we are working on something like that." But like I said, I can't say much yet because it's all in a very, very in a diapers still. So
All right. So
it's
watch this
gonna,
space. Things will
yes,
evolve.
yes.
Excellent.
Hopefully
That's
we're
really
gonna we're gonna
exciting.
change the martial arts world. Hey, but going back to your book, is it gonna be more like a technical book? I'm just thinking about bouncing ideas of you because I started writing the book last year, which
Yeah.
is put on a shelf because my mindset, my syllabus is changing a lot, and I want to do a teaching methodology book.
Hmm.
And I'm trying to gather all the methodologies that I'm using into one. And it's, like you said, it's easier in my head than on a structure and project. So I was wondering what's you, because you said you're going to take pictures. Are you doing like a methodology teaching or application book or?
Yeah. Theory and practice um, to a very large extent. My mostly about from my experience of training over the past few years, how things have developed, and yeah, so just sharing some possibilities. Really, I think is primarily what it's about. Again, I'm not going to go into any great lengthy explanation because as I write the book, as I'm sure you found, things are sort of changing direction
Hmm.
anyway. So, but the idea when I set out was to just to put on paper some principles and ideas and training protocols that I have found beneficial to my training over the years, and hopefully might influence other people in a positive way. Um, so it was just to get all this busy stuff from in my head out onto paper, really.
Hmm.
As a functional exercise, writing a book is quite good from the point of view of irrespective of it actually becomes a book that's published or not. It's a great way of learning more about your subject
Yeah.
because you have to look into it much more deeply. You've got to try and get that information out in some sort of coherent way, yeah, onto the page, and not look at it. My first couple of drafts. I put all this stuff down. I read through it, I thought, what the crap is that? This makes no sense at all. It's a bit like reading through one of my old notebooks. I've always been a
Mm,
comprehensive note taker, and I make notes, and I make notes from my notes, and I make notes from those notes. So you over about three notebooks, you've got these condensing notes going down to like hopefully this little nugget. But if you don't make that progression straight away, often when you look back at your original notes, it's like, what did that mean?
yeah.
So yeah, and I found that a little bit with the book. I wrote this stuff down, thought, oh, that's great. And then I went back and read it about a week later. I thought, that makes no sense at all. I've got to rethink that, rewrite it.
Mm. Yeah, as you mentioned about the notebooks, you guys, if you want a nice notebook, I've got one, really good one. It's going in the
Yes,
description
Les has got an
below.
excellent book.
Trying to make
I highly
extra
recommend it.
10 pounds on the side.
Your karate journal, very
Yep.
good.
Uh,
Yeah, go for it. Really
yeah, I
well
found that
laid out. Good book.
yeah, I found as well that kind of writing the book is a pain, is a challenge. But I finding much more frustrating going through the checks and corrections, and it always end result 5 scripts later, it comes up a very different body of work.
Mm.
But that's the process. I think refining and stuff like that. So that's
Well, I
the
think
way to
the
do it.
fact you
And
can write it in English when it's your second language. I think it's amazing. I
well,
think I'd be
I,
inclined to write it in Polish and then translate it from Polish.
I stop you there. I don't write in English. I write in English.
Ah,
I call it Pinglish. And I tried 2 ways. When I was writing the anxious black belt, I gave it to my friend to correct the English, and it comes out good, but with zero understanding of karate. So the
right.
correction was like, but that's not what we do. You don't understand really. So Anna is the author behind the scenes who understand my thinking because she's my partner for 13, 14 years. And she does karate, so she's a person who understands the my background, my
Mm.
point of view. So the nice English versions are from Anna with my Pinglish in it. So
Uh, so you're a good team.
although now I have to say I know that lots of authors gonna be complaining. I'm using a lot of chat GPD to correct my grammar and stuff like that. It's still after correction and I have to correct the computer because it sometimes is putting a really wrong style. I like
Hmm.
either too funny or too intellectual, but it's nice to correct grammar and spelling mistakes
Yeah,
because I am dyslexic in Polish and I'm dyslexic in English. That's kind of transferring the skills. so so I do quite a
yeah.
lot of mistakes and it's a helpful tool. But I was trying to write a book with just prompts, like people saying, and it's awful.
Mm.
It's awful. So I don't think so that authors are in danger. And you can kind of sense it. It's not genuine. It's kind of it feels artificial.
Right.
Or maybe just my prompts are very rubbish. Maybe that's the case. So, but no, I use. You should try that as well. It's useful tool.
Yeah, I'll have a look. I've resisted so far, but yeah, I think it would be worth having a look.
Yeah, if you got a goal of not replacing your writing but using it as a even advancing ideas, I find it very because I've got the chaos in my mind. I don't. Some people are very structured. Mine is like somebody dumped it in a teenager's room, the clothing in the middle. That's kind of description of my mind, I think. So if I put what I want to write about, it can give you a structure, how to
Yeah.
do it, and then you
Right.
modify it
Okay.
yourself. I find that very, very useful. Not as a writing a book, but just give me a structure. This is what I want to write about. This is my ideas. Please put it in some sort of order so it'll be easy to read. And it does that very well.
You strike me as sort of a mind map sort of guy. You got your central theme, and then you've got all these little bubbles coming off it all over the place.
Yeah, that's pretty much yeah. But it's like a zigzag everywhere crossing pathing. I can't. I probably if I got diagnosed or I wish to go the diagnosed with the ADHD, I probably would
mm,
qualify because I've got very short attention span to things, and I've got like million projects going in different directions and being done. And I'm learning how to focus more on one and go and just do it. Okay, just do it. It's like been doing
mm.
that breakfall course. It took me about 5 months preparation, and I done it within an hour. It's just
Yeah,
getting there is the problem. Not doing it is getting there. It's just like resistance inside that it's unreasonable pain. Oh, I'm gonna have to set up lights. I'm gonna have to do this. I'm gonna do that. It's hard for me to. I suppose procrastination, right?
yeah. How's it going, the course? It sounds
Oh,
brilliant.
It's pub. It's
I haven't
published.
picked it up yet, but I will. Yeah, I will buy it. I promise. I just wondered
Thank
how
you.
it was going.
So it is good. Sells, especially those who've been with me on my seminars, because one of my most popular seminars is the overcoming mental barriers into throws and landing. So this is like a preparation one. This one is only you know how to break fall, so I don't think so. It's
Mm,
gonna be useful for you because it's only the four basic break falls: forward, backwards, forward through the shoulder, and backwards through the shoulder. So it's like very basic. But I've noticed that people coming in from karate who try to throw and they don't have that base. So
mm.
this is like it's only 15 pounds, so it's like introduction to breakfast and stuff. So you can build on if you know this, then you can go to the next course when we're gonna be
Yeah, yeah.
doing throws and stuff. So
That's a
if
good
you don't have a
idea. Well structured.
yeah, if you don't have a foundation, there is no point jumping in because you're just gonna get injured, right?
Mm,
If you don't have a basic
yeah.
thing, I'm landing on the floor and my chin have to be tucked in, then we have no conversation of you being thrown. If that makes sense, right?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Well, I
Yeah.
think that
So.
yeah. I mean, it's always nice to see how other people teach things. Same thing, variations. Because I think again that helps you open up your eyes and your perspective on different people doing things. I mean, I've got mainly older people in my class. None of them like falling down.
Well,
So
the older I get, I say to my guys, it's not the problem being on the floor, it's to get up from it. That's the most tiring part.
yeah,
You know,
definitely.
landing there is all right, but getting up is getting more and more tiring.
Yeah, you have to
So,
build in that into the class. So half a class is actually spent getting up off the floor rather than doing anything else. Yeah.
yeah, but that's the point which Marek, you met Marek from Poland, my friend, who says that they focusing a lot of. Now that I backtrack this one, so there are a lot of people saying that you shouldn't waste time on warm up. You should be doing warm up for the activities you do, which is
Mm-hmm.
great and makes sense, but not when you've got people who can't move properly. If you've
Mm-hmm.
got the athletes, yes. If you've got the people who've got a bad back, cannot squat, the more beneficial for them is to have a half an hour of mobility with
Mm-hmm.
elements of karate then have a kicking straight away for warming up because their back
Yeah.
is stiff, they can't move. And as Marek says to me, and I love that quote, which is butchered in English a little bit, it sounds better in Polish, at least for me, is that, martial arts you might use one day. Ability to move, you're going to use daily.
Yeah.
So, which is more beneficial and more practical karate for my students? The one that allows them to get up from the sofa without groaning and using hands,
Mm-hmm.
or the one that
Yeah.
they're gonna be striking Yakutski to the tummy all day long?
Well, yeah, absolutely. I mean, falling safely doesn't just relate to people throwing you, does it? At the end of the
Hmm.
day, as we get older, we're more prone to falls, balance gets worse, deteriorates, and
Hmm.
you're more likely to injure yourself when you fall. So to actually have confidence that you can fall and fall safely is going to make you more capable and actually reduce the likelihood of falling because you're going to be more confident
Hmm.
in walking as well. So
Yeah.
my dog wiped me out the other day.
Oh
I
wow.
was walking Barney round the block, and we got onto somebody's drive, and you know what these little square drive things are like,
Mhm.
and they're quite slippery. And he sideswiped my leg and took it out from underneath me, and I did a really graceful, not at all, side break fall as I hit the floor. I'm
Well,
just
that
glad
that
nobody was there filming it.
So that was must have been work up all those wasps or um, bees that look like bees when you've been walking with
Oh,
a
bees. Oh,
big
yeah. No,
swarm.
that was a different day, different problem. Yeah, they were good, weren't
Oh,
they? Those are those. That was
yeah.
cool.
If you haven't seen the video, go to the Don's feed and you can see the video of a big swarm of I think it was bees, right? Didn't
Yeah,
look like
yeah.
wasps
No, it was
going
bees.
around somebody's drive.
Yeah, I'm glad I didn't live there. Very impressive sight, though, and
Yeah,
much more impressive in live than it was on the video. And it's like really noisy, and you can see how many bees there were. But it was incredible to see it live. Just massive. You could barely see through them. There were so many of the things. It was good.
I've seen you doing a workshop with Mary Stevens again.
Yes. Yeah, so Mary and I are getting together on the 29th of June. So looking forward to that. She's going to present her new kata for defense against somebody bigger, stronger, more determined.
And that's coming
I'll
from
be,
Mary. That's coming
yeah,
from Mary. So
yes,
I
yes.
apologize, Mary, because I know you listen to my podcast, but really, you should. That's something I can come up with, not you, Mary. Come on. I think she's taller than you, isn't she?
I think we're a similar height. Yeah, similar height.
Yeah, that's not a small people. I'm sorry, but that's not
No,
a small
no,
people.
no, no. But it's this. It's this. Um, it's to give people. I mean, we haven't really spoken about it in any great detail. I'm looking forward to seeing it when we do the seminar. I'll be doing kinetic chain and power generation, but I think it's this to give people confidence when you're working with somebody bigger, or not necessarily bigger, but stronger. You know, it could be a woman against a man, man against a woman. The dynamic that puts you at ill at ease, just to get comfortable with working against somebody who poses that sort of threat.
Yeah, no,
I
Mary
guess.
is fantastic with that, but
Yeah,
what kind of friend I would be if I wouldn't take a Mickey out of her. So
yeah, of
I feel
course.
obliged.
Yeah,
And
so we've
what you
got
gonna be?
that's with Mary. We've
Uh-huh.
got Ian Abernethy and I are teaching together on the 24th of May.
Hmm.
So that's all up. Both of those events are up on the events page on Facebook, or you can get them via the website, doncame.com. I'm over in Ireland 17th and 18th of May as well, teaching for Jerry Smullen's dojo, Kiseki Dojo over there. So we've got 2 days of seminars, two on the Saturday, one on the Sunday. So looking forward to that.
Very
Um,
busy. And then
yeah,
we
so
teaching
it's gonna
together
be
in
good.
September.
We're back into we're together in September. The dream team back together again in September. Um,
We're gonna have somebody who upsets a lot of people on the internet. Gary Lever.
yeah, hold on a sec.
Yeah,
I need to plug my iPad in. The battery's running out.
no problem. Yeah, so we're gonna have I just keep talking. Gary's
You
gonna
keep
be
talking.
showing his version of Goju Ryu, which for some reason I find him very interesting what he's showing. But seems to be that the Goju purists have a lot of to say negatively about him, and he's got like a fan club of people returning and slating him on the online, as we've been talking before about it. But I'm finding his Goju very interesting, and it looks closer to the roots than the other versions. So I'm really looking forward to his approach and what he's gonna be showing and what he's gonna be teaching with us. And obviously your stuff is also amazing. And I think
Thank
it's
you very
gonna be
much.
very nice seminar.
Yeah, looking forward to it. I've never met Gary before, but I like his stuff. So I'm looking forward to meeting him and finding out more. That's going to be really good. But it's always good to get together with you and do stuff. I wish we could do it more often. Um,
Yeah, well,
it's always fun. It's always worthwhile.
I think it's I took a this year I'm doing less seminars that I'm organizing because there's so much choice that it's a huge risk, especially if I bring in somebody abroad. It's a lot
Mm.
of investment and it's very unpredictable time now with all the um, financial crisis and people just don't have money. So I don't want to
Yeah.
as well put pressure on people that you need to come and they're missing out and stuff like that. So I'm thinking more cautious about it. But karate for mental health is something I want to run, and I'm hoping to go. We're gonna go downstairs this time, I think, and support the shin kick. So hire from them the bigger room with the
Oh,
ring,
okay. Yeah,
so we
good.
can have more people and support other club as well because their bills went up and council doesn't help with the rent and business rates and stuff like that, as you probably
Yeah.
know through your stuff. And it's kind of non-negotiable with them, so we're trying to help them as well a bit.
Mm, good. Yeah. Well, like you say, it's community, and you've got a good space there. So it's nice to be able to use it.
Yeah, it's so much nicer with the mats being all the time and not have to bring them all the time and put them down
Yeah.
and cleaning in the garage, putting in the car, taking it out, cleaning again. It's just
Mm.
hey ho. And how's your dojo going? Because you had some water leak last time when we spoke.
Yes, yeah, we had a little bit of a problem. Turned out it was a blown fuse. We have a small sort of water closet there, which basically uses a macerator, and the fuse blew, and it just created a flood. So thankfully, no major damage was done. It was found very quickly. Managed to get things resolved within sort of 24 hours. So I only ended up closing it for a day, which was nice. So it was
Mm,
good that and it didn't cost too much money to resolve either. So I was quite pleased about that.
okay. Um, I think we covered pretty much all the topics. So, you guys want to talk about anything else?
Always happy to talk to you, Les. I just don't think the more we talk, whether anyone else will want to listen to it. That's the thing. Um, yeah. So I think originally we were talking about talking in regards to longevity in training, weren't we? I think we wanted to have
Mm,
a chat about that. Maybe that's one to save for another time.
yeah. You know what? The most listens I've got kind of conversation like with yours. There is no structure. We're just talking about it, and it always takes turns. And this is something that I like to listen. That it just takes different turns. It's not like
Yeah, yeah.
structure. I've got 10 questions to you and you're going to answer those. It's like free flow of the conversation and whatever comes to your mind, you just go there and talk because it's not always karate is not always about the techniques.
No.
We covered teaching, we covered mental health, we covered breakfalls, we covered kata and stuff like that. So it's always nice to kind of reach different routes and all leading to one mountain, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
One
It's
top.
always good to have a ramble.
Yeah. All right, Sensei. Thank you for joining me, and I'm looking to the next one with longevity then.
Yeah, cool. That's really good. Well, I hope your family's well. I will speak to you soon. Take care. Thanks for that.
Speak to you soon. Yeah. Bye.